The fire was spreading through the castle, and Yunsu and Chaya were now in the outer forest. Yunsu's condition had worsened, and they hadn't even made it that far from the castle. He told her to let go for now and thought to himself that even when Rose had injured father, he hadn't been able to defeat him. Even if Chaya became human and he drank her blood to recover, there was no guarantee he could end father. In fact, father would likely drink her blood first and recover instead. Chaya asked if he was all right, and Yunsu thought that he had known this would happen. Strangely, he felt at ease, more so than when he had been desperately trying to hold on to her. He asked her to have one last dance with him. Chaya asked if he was out of his mind, to which he replied, "Indeed, I am over you." He wondered when it had all started. At first, he had always tried to scare her, but at some point she had stopped getting flustered. She replied that he was the one who got flustered. Hearing that, he hugged her and said, "That must have been when I fell in love with you." She asked if he regretted starting off on the wrong foot, but he said he didn't. Chaya said she didn't either. This was the best they could do, and they could never change. Then he handed her Girim's blood and told her to leave. He added that he actually didn't care whether she was a vampire or not. It was just that he had always been happiest with her by his side. His endless life had gained meaning because of her. He reminded her that she had once said she would leave him one day, and thanked her for waiting. Because now, finally, it was time. Chaya was shocked to hear this. Why did he sound like he was about to die? He could just drink her blood and recover. But Yunsu told her that vampire blood is fatal to other vampires. She offered to become human again first, but Yunsu told her that wouldn't work either, not with father still around. He told her to leave, but she replied that she still couldn't teleport. So he pushed her toward the edge of the pond, telling her to imagine getting away from him. Then he let go of her hand, saying she should think of him as just another passing misfortune. As she was about to touch the water, she teleported. Yunsu was left standing alone, while Chaya had unfortunately reappeared in the castle courtyard. But then she noticed a silver knife lying on the grass. It was the same one Gemino had used on Gurim, meaning it had Gurim's blood on it. In fact, it was the very knife she had once stolen from Leo's house. She was alive, and she needed to get far away from there. But as she was walking away, all she could think about was Yunsu. Right now, by the pond, Yunsu was being choked by father. Father told him he should never have let him live all those years ago. Because he had let Sion live, Sion had Gurim, and Gurim's blood ended Rose. To think he had raised him without knowing what he would become, how pathetic. Yunsu replied that he hadn't known father had ended his mother either. He drank his blood, called him father, and obeyed him. So that makes them even. He thought that if he just had a bit more strength, he might have been able to survive, as father held him down and began to drown him in the water. At that moment, Chea sensed Yunsu's blood, and she could no longer ignore her feelings. She ran toward him, focusing only on the scent of his blood, and this time her teleportation worked. She reappeared just behind father and attacked him with the silver knife, thinking that perhaps they really were tethered together by something unbreakable. Father had turned around, so the knife went straight into his chest. He collapsed to the ground and saw that Chea had become a vampire. He tried to grab her by the neck, snarling that he should have ended her when she was still human. Then, as if something dawned on him, he remembered Diana's words and began to laugh. To think that a mere human girl would be the one to end him, how ridiculous he must look. In truth, he had feared death more than anything. That fear had consumed him. So much so that when he learned of Geirim's blood, he'd tried to eliminate everyone who could pose a threat. He, a vampire, a harbinger of death, had spent his life trying to escape it. And now, with a strange, almost peaceful smile, he thought, perhaps he was just another human after all, one who feared death like the rest. In his final moments, it was Rose he saw. She had come to take him, and then his body disintegrated into dust. After that, Chaya noticed the scent of blood in the water. It reeked of Yunsu's blood. That meant he must be inside. She drank Gurim's blood, thinking that even Yunsu wanted her to be human again. Then, without hesitation, she jumped into the water and swam toward him. holding him up to keep him from sinking further. She bit her lip and fed him her blood. Just like that, he woke up, his strength returning. The two of them emerged from the water and collapsed on the shore. Yunsu congratulated her for becoming human again. She congratulated him back for staying alive. He admitted that, yes, he had come close to death and then asked if she was into seeing him at his lowest. Was that why he looked so pathetic around her? Was that his way of flirting? Chaya shot back. Is it working? Yunsu asked. It is, Chaya replied. Yunsu couldn't help but smile. Their struggle to outwit each other, he thought, would probably go on forever.